Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Stephen West, Superintendent of Winona Area Public Schools, welcoming you to our show, Making the Grade. It feels like, it feels like I've been away a little bit, Christine. I don't know what the deal is. I've had one where we had the Adams family here, and that was awesome. But I feel like I'm not having as many segments as I have in the past, so I'm going to have to figure that out with Gay Mortensen. I have to my left here somebody that I want the community to meet and talk a little bit about some of the tremendous things that are going on in our school district. This is Christine Traxler. You go by Christy?
Yes.
Okay, Christy. Do you mind if I call you Christy?
No, that's
okay,
fine.
all right, because I want to make sure, you know. And Christy is our, what we would call, back in my day, a home ec teacher. But we have evolved that name to Family and Consumer Science, or FACS. So before we even get started with questions, let's just talk about you. You're kind of one of the lone breeds here, not only in Winona Area Public Schools, but just in general, you see the loss of family and consumer science teachers over the state and over the country. So tell us a little bit about you. How long you've been in the system, that type of thing.
Well, you know, and I've actually been with Winona for over 20 years,
Yeah.
about 23 years, and so I've been sometimes at the high school, sometimes at the middle school,
Yeah.
and do a little bit of back and forth, and so I like all of those grade levels.
Yeah, and you told me that you also are special ed as well, so
Yes.
you're an eclectic individual.
Well, I don't know, a jack of all trades.
Yes,
I don't know if that's, hopefully a master of some, but I don't know.
I would leave it at that. So let's talk about facts. A lot of folks who are going to watch this show know what it is. There's a value to it. Back in the day, we sewed, we did a lot of those things, but it's evolved now. Tell us about what you see now in the evolution from home ec to quote unquote the facts classes.
You know, and I believe the facts and actually is something that centers around the family and the kinds of things that we need to do to be of the best we can be on a real life kind of thing. And I would say that it has evolved not from the focus not being just on the product, or that now I would say it's kind of the process of learning it.
Right.
Whereas it's following directions and those technical reading. It's being a team. It's being a person that is practicing employability kinds of skills.
Those what they call soft skills type things.
I would say. But I think, and the exciting part for me, I think, is the kinds of skills the kids are learning now are getting to be really sought after. They're not learning maybe as many things at home, but they're kind of a hobby, or it can be a real sense of enjoyment or employability, because there's a lot of jobs related to some of the skills they're learning. In the food industry, for instance, lots and lots of jobs related to that as well.
So let's get right down to it then. I mean, these are skills that we want our kids to have when they leave our school system. What type of things do you do in the classes? Let's get specifics. What are these kids doing in facts?
Well, and I'll tell you, in the middle school level, it's kind of an introductory chance for them to kind of find out and get their hands wet a little bit. We don't have a lot of time with our students. But they get a chance to learn some basics, especially in nutrition. And then they can not only learn about nutrition, but they get a chance to practice making a food that tastes good and follow a recipe, and then get a chance to hopefully practice and make some things at home. I tell my students often, you know, the goal, we want to eat healthy, but we want to make that healthy food taste good. So we do that. But we also teach. We do teach some sewing at the middle school, things to help them take care of their clothes, whether it be some hand sewing to learn some sewing on a button, but also doing some sewing. They learn the process of sewing. But we do other things where they kind of evolve the sewing. We have what's called an upcycle project, where it's kind of almost going backwards in the fact that they take a clothing item and they think, and they kind of have to get creative and think about, how can I make this into something different? So they use the skills that they've learned about sewing to kind of use that, like I said, kind of almost engineering kind of things to put it together in a new way.
Wow. So is that a way to connect the STEM type of work?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And in STEM using, actually, because it's that machines, you have to problem solve. You have to be able to figure out what's happening with my machine. It's a sewing machine. It's maybe a different, but it is a very complicated, it can be very complicated.
Trust me, it is absolutely. I have to tell you, so before I go on and talk about this amazing thing that you called me about and wanted to do, you talk about nutrition. Clearly, nutrition wasn't something, because I like to eat. So the food that I see, well, in facts, I'm like, it's okay. But I mean, we're just talking about some basic survival types of things that you do, or are they pretty like spaghetti? And what do you have kids cooking?
Well, and it depends, because we have we start in 7th grade.
Right.
That's where we offer it now in the middle school, and
Right.
so we have to learn some kind of basic measuring, and those would be some simpler kinds
Okay.
of recipes. Maybe it's a blender drink where they have to measure, and some
Okay.
things that have some fruit juices in.
Okay.
But as my 8th graders move along, they make some pretty intricate pizza from scratch with a homemade crust and some.
Is that right? Oh, so pizza. Okay, now you're speaking my language now. You're speaking my language, Christy. All right, but let's talk about it. A few weeks back, you came. You asked to set up an appointment with me, and which I want to thank you for doing. And you said you had this creative thought in your head that you would like to see done. Not just for the middle school, and not just for 861, but a community as a whole. You want to talk about Dine-In Day a little bit and
Sure.
what that is?
Well, and actually, it's an event that this is a 2nd annual.
Okay.
It's a special day, Dine-In Day. It's designated as December 3rd,
Okay.
and it's actually a celebration of FACS, or Family Consumer Science.
So you guys are trying to find a way to keep going
Oh,
in there?
well,
Okay,
we're going to keep trying. I'm going to keep on that. But it was actually, the day December 3rd is picked because that is Ellen Swallow Richard's birthday, who is actually the founder of FACS, or as it was, Home Economics.
Right.
But she was actually the first MIT graduate. She really recognized the importance of science in helping our families be stronger.
Okay.
And so it evolved from there, because she felt it was important that we teach our students how they could be the best they can be in families.
Excellent.
And so the day was picked December 3rd in honor of her birthday.
Okay.
And on that day, we are encouraging families to make a healthy meal together and sit down as a family to enjoy that meal.
Okay, so this is very big, Winona. Okay, so we're going to be out there promoting this as December 3rd, this Dine-In Day. We're asking that you sit around the table, go back to that kind of family. We are always on the move too much now in this day and age. Our families are so busy doing varying things. So we have some families who are pretty busy. Do they have menus that they can choose from? I mean, what are you doing here?
Well, and here's the fun part, because it really has been from our students.
Right.
I wanted it to be something the students got excited about. This is something the students could promote. So my 8th grade class, we've picked out some healthy recipes.
You're going back to this healthy stuff again.
Oh, yes.
Come on, Chrissy. I mean, seriously. Okay. All right.
So yeah, they actually there's 2 recipes that we kind of have chosen as the main dish things. One is a chicken vegetable stir fry. The other is a Mexican chicken soup. And my students practiced them, and I told them they were going to become the experts, and they rose to the occasion. And we are in the process of. We did all the taping, but we're making a video, a how-to video that's going to be on our website. And the recipes, so families can see our students and maybe make some of the things that we have taught them.
But they can make whatever they want as a
Absolutely.
family, because the goal here is for our families to sit together, talk around the table, have dinner to one another.
Exactly.
Is that right?
That's exactly right.
Wow. Okay, so they get together at home, they're making dinner. Now, I hear there's a way to potentially download this into some website or something?
Yes, and
I'm no expert in technology, believe me when I tell you this, so, okay.
Well, and we're working. I'm working with our technology people to make sure but yeah, and it is kind of fun to get a chance to show other people that, we did this and this was fun, and so if they take a picture, they can tweet it or send an Instagram to #Winona.
#Winona.
And I believe that'll be on the screen because I want to say it right.
Okay.
# Winona Dine-In Day. It's Winona Dine-In Day, and that way we'll be able to see all of the families that have, and the cool things that they've done, and sitting down to do that.
So let's just we have about 4 minutes left here in this segment, but I do want to talk about why? I mean, what's the benefit for families to do this dine-in day? Why did you decide to take it on? Did we do it last year?
No,
Okay.
this is, and I didn't have a class in the fall or
Yeah,
during that
yeah.
time last year, so I thought it was a cool idea when I first heard it.
Yeah.
I just think, I think families sitting down together, there's so many benefits. Research tells us. In
Yeah.
fact, I did my master's thesis on dining together as a family, so
Okay.
I really have a passion. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of research that tells us that families that sit down together, they have, when they have this chance to connect, because we are so busy. It's
Right.
a place when they can all sit down together, and that the benefits for children are nutritional. We know that we tend to see less obesity in families sitting down and those that sit down together. Vocabulary, we know that is a way to increase vocabulary. Some research even says more than reading to our children is sitting down together as a family. It's a chance to share a heritage, the things that, there's so many things around food that we can even talk about and celebrate, and so there's many benefits. And I hope, having this one time, that it's a great experience for our families, and they would find ways to incorporate more chances to be able to do that.
Well, I'm really excited about the potential of this because I really want it to be successful for our Maiden Voyage, because it feels like an annual thing to me. It feels like something we could, as a school system, as a community, we could get behind and do it on an annual basis. And I think that could be something we're kind of known for. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. I'm looking forward to seeing folks download their pictures and whatnot and Instagram, and I love going out on Twitter and tweeting out. So that's kind of really a pretty cool thing. As we close here, one of the areas that I'm always interested is how do we make sure it's highly inclusive? Because there are families who have access to you that can have access to technology. Have we thought about yet how those families who are kind of on the peripheral yet, and maybe you don't, and maybe there's no answer to it yet, but I am concerned of how we bring in our families of color and make sure that they feel a part of this. Have we thought about that yet, or have we chit-chatted a little? And maybe we can talk about it off air or something, of trying to find a way to make sure that they're a part of this whole thing as well.
Yeah, and I think within our middle school, and I know the elementary schools too, are going to be doing some things to send home in the newsletters, and our middle school is doing some things in our homeroom to kind of get kids get excited. And I do know, and I want to make sure both of our grocery, Hy-Vee and Midtown, they are actually donating some gift certificates, so that families that do participate will be able to be put into a drawing, and then hopefully if they win that gift certificate, they can go buy groceries for some other family meals together. So we're hoping that that's kind of some more encouragement for them. So
I have to tell you, Christy, in the last 30 seconds that I have here, this is why I love the district. I think we have to be innovative. We have to be creative, thinking outside the box about our programming. If we're going to allow our programs to exist, we have to think differently about them. And this is a way that I sit and go, my God, this is awesome. So I can't thank you enough for spearheading this Dine-In Day and the work that you do already between special ed and FACS. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to December 3rd. That ends our first section here. Very, very excited again to have Christy here. We'll be back in a moment with the continuing with Making the Grade.
From the very beginning, HBC has been a leader in advanced technology, community service, and customer care. We are proud of our local roots and hometown values. Dedicated to making a difference, we understand how much our communities benefit by having world-class technology at their fingertips, and having local team members that live in the neighborhoods we serve helps HBC to keep in touch with the needs of each community in a very personalized way. We care about each community, and we are here to stay. Call 888-474-9995 and start experiencing the HBC difference today.
Join HBC Sports' Extra Point one-camera coverage of high school football and soccer throughout the fall, presented by Lewiston Auto. In addition to our football night crew broadcasts, Extra Point will bring you 8 games from the gridiron and 9 games from the pitch. For the full slate of games, simply visit hbci.com/sports to find out when your team will be on the field. That's Extra Point coverage of HBC Sports presented by Lewiston Auto, all fall, only on TV 25.
Welcome back to the second segment of Making a Grade. I'm Stephen West, your host, Superintendent of Winona Area Public Schools. And now we have two more guests for our second segment. And I have to tell you guys, this is exciting to me, so fired up. To my far left is my Director of Technology. No, that's not the official title.
Information systems.
Information
Technology.
Information System, Kevin Fleece. We're going to just talk a little bit to you a little bit about how long you've been here,
Sure.
what you've seen in technology evolving. In the middle, you've probably seen her before. She's come here before with Tyler, Jen Snook, my tech integrationist. How's at the high school right now? We're doing some amazing things as the high school, as we were talking
Excellent.
during the commercial. So let's start with you, Kevin. Before we get into this whole TL and what this is, I got about 14 minutes, so we got time. Tell me a little bit about yourself, how long you've been here in the system, what have you seen over time with this evolution of technology?
Well, I just started my 19th year here at the school district and 25th year in public education technology. So obviously seen a lot of changes over the last 25 years. When I first came to Winona, I think we had no technology in the classrooms. Teacher computers, student computers were not heard of at that time, mostly used for the business aspects of the school district.
Right.
So to see where we are today and the transformation that's taking place in K-12 education and the use of technology has been really something to experience.
Yeah, it's amazing,
Yeah.
just even in the last 5 years to watch the evolution. How about you, Jen? You're relatively new. You're my newbie here, and but you've been in this whole technology thing for a while as well, through UWL and whatnot.
Yes.
Right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yep, I taught in a middle school classroom, middle school, high school setting for 10 years, and I taught art and technology.
Okay.
And so, and then I went to UWL and really got my feet wet in instructional design, which really brought the whole thing together. Learning how to integrate technology in a meaningful way.
Right.
And so that really, I learned a lot there. I was there for 4 years, and so now I'm glad to be back in the classroom with a variety of teachers, variety of grade levels. It is
You're
a dream
so
job.
kind when you
I
say
love it.
a variety
I love
of. You're so kind. So here we are. We're on the precipice of something here in 861. We're about to move to this whole idea of TL21. You guys, Kevin, you've been here a lot longer than both Jen and I, so you and your team have set the stage, the foundation, the infrastructure for this whole TL21, this one-to-one. Why don't you talk a little bit about to our community what that
Sure.
is?
TL21 is our learning initiative, stands for Transforming Learning for the 21st Century.
That's a catchy name. Who came up with that?
I don't know who did that. I don't think it was me. So I think we have to give Kelly Halverson
We better give her some
that
credit for
one,
that.
so.
Yes.
But it's transformation learning for the 21st century, and that's our initiative to, as Dr. West mentioned, to make Winona Public Schools a digital district by putting technology and the power of the technology that our students are such a vital part of their lives growing up in their hands, so that they can learn any place, anytime, and really get the power of the technology behind their learning.
Absolutely. So you've just talked a little bit about why TL21, the rationale for it. Is it all about this device? Is it about something more? I mean, you talk about integrating things in the classroom. Tell me how you see this. Because I know families will get concerned, and I know they worry about, oh, it's just this new device. This is it's all a game. It's not a game to us.
No, not at all. I feel like there are a couple of reasons that are really important reasons for us to get devices in students' hands as soon as possible. And so I feel, first of all, we have a great opportunity to personalize learning for every student. When every student has something where they can work at their own pace, they can work with resources in their own setting, whether it's at home or their space in the classroom, and they can be working with that on their own. Doors are open for students. It is really more suited to each individual student. Having a device also gives us some capabilities that we don't have with other tools that we have in the classroom. So if you think about collaborating with each other, whether it's in the classroom, outside of the classroom, but in the school, when students are at home and they can deal with each other, when we go outside of our school and our community and work with someone who's in another country. I mean, classrooms can connect. So these tools are just present these opportunities that we really wouldn't find other places. Right. Another thing that I think is really important with, as much as students are faced with technology right now, we really do have a responsibility to help them navigate that in a way that maybe they won't find outside of school. So when we put a device in their hand, we're coupling that with what it means to be a digital citizen and how to be safe online and how to contribute in meaningful ways to the world online and with technology. And so it's a mixed bag of, you know, good for us, good for them, and good for them as they go on past high school. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited that we're doing this in a very well thought out
I think for me, you've hit it right on the head, Jen, on all what you've spoken to. This idea of this word of differentiation. And we've asked our teachers to differentiate when you have 25, 30 in a classroom. Very difficult to truly meet kids where they're at without the resource to do that. That's what the tool, that piece of technology does. It allows a teacher to truly meet a kid at their personal level and to push a kid further. So I'm really excited about this opportunity. Okay, so Kevin, when is all this happening, man? And who gets this stuff?
Who gets it? Yeah, that's what everybody wants to know. We actually started the first phase of our program last year with a small pilot group of 9th grade students. We learned a lot from that. We're getting geared up for, and the real exciting part, in January of 2016, we're going to be distributing a Chromebook to each 10th grader at the Winona Senior High. Excellent. And in the fall of 16, fully implementing the high school, every student will have a Chromebook.
So why did we choose Chromebook? Why not a Mac Air? Why not iPad? What was it about the Chromebook?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons. Some of them educationally in the classroom, and some from financial piece to it and management piece to it as well. The Chromebook lends itself very well to use with the Google Apps infrastructure, Google Apps ecosystem, and we use a lot of Google products in the Winona School District. So it's set up to optimize that environment. So it also provides a way for students to easily create content through the use of the keyboard, touchpad. Has several ports that you can plug peripheral devices into it, whether that might be some testing equipment for a science classroom or whatever it might be. So and then the financial piece of it is they're easy to manage with the staff that we have. Doesn't require a lot of setup. So easy to deploy, easy to manage, and they have a little bit lower price tag than some other devices we looked at.
So before I go on, I mean, we got about 6 minutes left in the segment. It's flying by. You got a device here. You want to unveil it to?
I would love to.
You want to unveil it to Winona here? And,
so we're real proud of these. We just got these a couple weeks ago, and these are going to be the devices that we're giving to our 10th graders in January. And it's a Google Chromebook, and you can see it's got a little personalization to it that we wanted to give it the Winona Public Schools look and feel. So we put this protective impact shield on it to protect the device, and had some custom orange bumpers and our Windhawk sticker on there. So wherever our students go, they'll know that they're from Winona. So we're pretty proud of these, and we're just really anxious to get them in the students' hands and see how they hold up.
24/7.
Right, 24/7.
24/7.
Yep.
All right, so we've said now Chromebooks, the goal is to have Chromebooks in our 10th graders' hands this January, and then next fall, we will have it for the whole entire high school.
Right.
So the plan for Chromebooks going forward, is that just the high school, or are we looking at, I know the answer to this, but we're talking to folks that don't know. So what's the plan with Chromebooks moving forward? What grade levels?
Beyond next fall, like I said, when we fully deploy the Chromebooks to all of the high school students, that next January, so a year from this January in 2017, we'll be doing another pilot group with the 8th graders at the middle school, and then the fall of 17, fully implementing the middle school and working our ways down to grades 3 and 4. So all students in grades 3 through 12 by the end of 2019 will have their own one-to-one Chromebook.
Okay, so 3 through 12 Chromebook.
Right.
we forget about our kindergarten, first and second grade. We would never forget
No
them,
way.
right?
No.
So what are we thinking about them?
For K through 2, we're looking at iPads, and we're looking at those because there tend to be non-readers, students that like to work a little bit with more of the imagery. They're very hands-on, and so they're able to manipulate the device a little bit more easily when it's more touch-based. So we're going iPads. We're going to go one iPad for every 2 students, and so they'll have for group work and for individual work in the classroom, and they can make videos, they can do all sorts of things in there, so it's going to be...
So I'm running out of time. I got all these questions, but let's get right down to it because I got 3 minutes. The man is telling me I got 3 minutes, okay? How are we paying for this stuff? I mean, obviously this is expensive. We know that. This is an investment for our school system, for our kids. How are we taking care of pricing on this?
A variety of ways. Several school districts that have gone into these one-to-one technology initiatives pay for the technology in a variety of different ways. Some of that is state, local, and federal funds that we have at our disposal currently, and part of that will be reimagining our budget and where we're putting resources currently to maybe shift some of that to the technology. The other piece of that is we are always working with local groups, community groups. We've been very fortunate with some of the groups like the Winona Area Public Schools Foundation, Dancing with the Winona Stars.
There it is, there it is.
Have done a lot of fundraising towards this program, and so we always continue to look for grants and things like that. And in reality, down the road, maybe looking at something where we'll, ask our community to support this initiative through a tech levy or some type of additional funding source for our program.
Okay, so I'm about 2 minutes, and so we're going to find a way to pay for this because we value this for our kids, and this is a priority for our school system. You mentioned grants, and people have been very generous about donating monies to help us with this. So if you want to help us with TL21, give me a call. Kevin would love to have those funds to do that. One area before I end the show is about, families are concerned about their kids going on and accessing areas. We can be naughty and accessing areas that they shouldn't be accessing. How do we talk to our families about that, and what are we going to do to support them to let them know that, we're going to be doing some things to try to stop some of that?
A few different ways. One thing, our school district is required by law to filter internet content, so we have to filter out inappropriate content that is not relevant for students or appropriate for K-12 students to see. So we have that in place. We also have on our Chromebooks some filtering that will carry outside of the school district so that they're filtered when they're at home as well. And then the other piece of it is, comes down to supervision and teaching students to being good digital citizens. And by that I mean how to use the internet appropriately, how to use their device appropriately, how to use the camera on the device appropriately, those kinds of things. And I know our class, and Jen maybe can speak to that as well, but I know our classroom teachers are doing a lot of work in that area as well.
I could talk on and on and on and on and on and on about this. It's called TL21. It's an amazing, I don't even know if it's a program, it's who we are, who we will become, a digital school district. I want to thank you, Jen, for the work you're doing at the high school to get our staff ready. Kevin, thank you for your leadership on this. We're changing 861, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of that. So thank you both very, very much. That ends our show tonight. That ends our show today. I'll see you next week or next month on Making the Grade. It's good to see everybody.